How's it going, guys? I'm back with another new comic book day haul. And I know I keep posting these up kind of late every week. I do apologize for that. But let me get right into it. First up, I have Dead Inside, number 5, final issue by Mr. John Arcudi with some great art by Mr. Tony Fajula. I really do enjoy how this page is laid out. It's been a very interesting story. Everything's going down, I guess, in this last issue. But considering it's a Arcudi book, I don't expect a big payoff, just a good enough payoff, I guess. Next, I have The Few, number 5, an issue away from the final issue. This is by Sheen Lewis and Hayden Shermanson on art, which is always very interesting when I look at his art. In the beginning, I was not that into it, but I have to say, it just grew on me. It's some very, very cool stuff. And the story is just as good. I mean, it's a very general post-apocalyptic story, but the characters really, I do really enjoy the characters in that book. Some great characters. And then I have 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, the complete 4th issue. Finally, more 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. This is written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Tyler Boss and a bunch of people doing a bunch of weird stuff: flattening, designing, lettering, wallpaper design. That's a lot of creators on one book. But it is chapter 4, and I think they said we finally get to see the bank. It's always crazy how they start off these books with some weird intro story. Then of course it goes off with the kids doing some weird stuff. You read this book pretty much for the characters, which are some pretty interesting kids there. I have Animal Noir number 4. Animal Noir has been a weird book. This has 2 writers on it, Izar Lunak and Nat Jurin. Art by Lunak. So it's kind of a weird detective story with animals, and the writing is pretty interesting. It's some weird writing at times, but I think this is the last issue. I'm not really sure. Then I have Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, The Big Line number 3, written by Anthony Del Cole, art by Werther Dalladair. And this is another book I really do enjoy the art in, but the story is just as interesting. You got these kids trying to do some detective work, and they're getting into a whole lot of trouble for some reason. They're investigating a murder their dad committed, something like that. So it's been an interesting book. Eleanor and the Egret number 2 by John Layman, and of course we got some very cool art by Sam Keith. And I think the story was about this lady that steals a painting, and she always has this egret that helps her out. So now they're trying to investigate her and a bunch of weird stuff. I think you get the book just for the weirdness of it. Then I believe this is a one-shot. This is The Wicked the Divine. Something. I think it has a subtitle. I can't remember. So this book has art by Andrea Araujo, who I believe did some Avengers book. I can't remember, but he did Man Plus. I'm sure everyone has read Man Plus. He wrote and drew that book. But of course, this is by Kieran Gillen, and Araujo is just doing some guest art for the book, which is very cool. Like I said, I believe it's a one-shot, but I'm not really sure. Then I have The Night Owl Society #2. The first one was an interesting book. This is written by James Van House, art by Pius Bach, which I think is the main reason I pick up the book. The art is very interesting, and if I said it before, I think it reminds me a lot of Four Kids Walk Into a Bank. The story and the art seem very similar. Well, not similar, but they're very reminiscent of each other. But yeah, so there's this kid. He's trying to investigate who, or he knows who committed the murder of one of his school teachers, which is a priest because he goes to a Catholic school. And then he recruits a bunch of kids to help him out. And the payoff for the first issue was very interesting. And yeah, I want to see what happens next. I believe it's a 4-issue book, so I don't know, maybe I'll wait for the trade, maybe I'll just get the last 2 issues. I have no idea, but it is an interesting story. Then I picked up Bros #2, which I believe this has a variant cover by David Finch, because Spawn is celebrating something or other. Of course, this is written by Meredith Finch with art by Igigera. And I can't remember what happened in the first issue, but the art seems kind of different. I don't know if if Guerra changed something up or what the deal is. But it's still nice. It's just another fantasy story with witchcraft and stuff like that. And finally, I picked up Triggerman. This is the first trade, or the only trade, I guess. Was it a single trade book? I do not remember. I remember seeing the single issues and I never picked it up. Original story by Walter Hill, adapted by Mats, art by Jeff. See, why can't all the names be that easy to pronounce? Translated by Edward Gavin. So I don't know, was this book published in a different language originally? I have no idea. But like I said, I never picked it up in singles. The art does look interesting. It feels very pulp. So yeah, I figured I'd pick up Triggerman. This is by Titan Comics through their hardcase imprint, I guess, for $20. Dang, I spent a lot of money on this. Anyways, that was the haul for this week. Thank you very much for watching.